everybody. It's PRI week, and I want to go over some of the reasons that we're not going to be at the show. Even though I'd love to go see all my friends and certainly our customers and things like that, but let's go over some of the things. So let's go for a walk. Well, Scott here, you can see he's putting logos on the end, doing all the end on the CID. Our CID LS 12 degree. I think that's a 12. Yeah, so Scott's working on all that. So running programs. It is at night. You can see we're working. Him and Joey, they work different shifts so we can try to get more hours in. So it's nice they're willing to do that. So let's go over some of the things. So not only do we not want to lose all the labor of setting up for the show, the week of the show, and the month it takes to get ready for it, we have products that we're working on, and to give up another month to not be working on them just doesn't make sense. So let's look at some of the things that we're working on. Okay, so we've had our 18 degree conventional head that we've done in the past with a 2500 intake valve to max pull. Well, it came out with a 20 degree because some of the truck pulling sanctioning bodies made the 18 illegal. We have a 20 now. I think some of the NMCA classes, you could only allow a 20 degree head. Now we have one, and this is a conventional cylinder head. It is completely legal for any truck pulling, any of the other classes, because it is 20, okay? So what we've done, you can see here, so right now we're scanning the chamber right here, we have a hexagon laser scanner, so we do all the laser scanning in-house so we can police everything. Anything we do, I try to bring it in-house. So this is a 20 degree conventional cylinder head. The flow coefficients are excellent. It's as good or better at every lift as the 18 was, and it should be because of the 20. And we'll go over that in another time. But compared to like an SR20, some of the other heads available, it is a true oval port, as you can see. It's a true oval port throughout. It's raised up at the spring pocket higher, and the 20 is going to have all the same rocker gear as the 18. It'll take a different rocker bar, but as far as all the fasteners, all 18 fasteners holding the single bar on, none of the fasteners right in front of right here where it's the thinnest part of the intake port. We've gotten rid of those and added a boss here and added a boss here to get rid of that so it just doesn't rip the top of the port out. So that's one thing we're doing. Rights and lefts intake ports flow identical within 2 or 3 CFM at every single lift, and it flows well over 500 CFM, and it's a true oval port, and it's got a ton of port energy, and this is badass for truck pullers or drag racers that have to run a conventional head. All right, now we'll come in here. We are designing a new 5-inch 4-space cylinder head. It's been needed to be done. I think some of our customers or potential customers have been asking about it. So you can see everything's pretty raw. Well, it's going to have the same rocker system or a similar rocker system to the Big 9. So 23 fasteners holding a single bar on. A lot of things we've done to it. Because these engines are 700, 800 cubic inch, we've raised all the spring pockets up in it to get more area out of it. And the Brodex version we sell has a 2570 intake valve in it. This is a 2650 intake valve in it. So this thing is mean, okay? It is going to be asymmetrical. We are not a big proponent of symmetrical, and no one can ever give me a reason why symmetrical is better. So all that 500-inch Pro Stock stuff, they moved those end ports, they moved 2 of those ports over right at the flange. So I'm not really buying that. I think those guys have done plenty of R&D to figure out that it works. The other thing that we've done, the cylinder head is going to be able to come off while leaving the manifold on. So if you want to slide the head off, it's going to be able to do that because we're making bosses in the block. So you'll just be able to run your stud, take it off from the top, and slide your head off. So big deal for especially nitrous guys or any power adder guy. So we're working on this. So this is the first version of the first casting. We're just proofing everything out. So very, very raw. So, but this thing is pretty close. Like all the port development is finished. So So we're just working all the little things to make sure it's easier to work for the customer to try and do everything right the first time. We're lucky we've been able to work with a couple engine builders who are willing to give us input, because you can't know everything. It's impossible. So we're very, very fortunate to be working with people like Sandy Wilkins helping us, giving us, hey, you need to do this if you want to sell those. This makes it racer friendly. So I want to thank him for that. And of course, Brodex working with us on the casting. That's the most important part. And Greg Brotherton over there knows a lot more about cylinder heads than anyone would ever realize. And then, so that's one product. We have our new Billet small block Ford. So it's all new intake ports and exhaust ports. This is just the model head here. You can see we've got epoxy in it, things like that. So it's just a model port. But 500 CFM on a small block on a 1020 flow bench. So probably go 520 on a 600 flow bench is pretty badass. A lot of port energy. This port is not very large. The cool part about this is we had a customer that saw one of the videos about this, and he said they have to run a cast style cylinder head. It has to be a cast cylinder head. So he asked, hey, can we put these ports into this head? I don't know why I didn't think of it, but it was absolutely genius. Luckily we have all the CAD for all the water and everything. We're able to bring it up on the computer screen, and we can definitely fit all of these new ports for the normally aspirated small block Ford in to John at CID's raw casting. And being that we get it raw without guide bores, seat bores, everything like that. Come on over here, Jimmy, we'll show one. Being that we get it like this, being that they are completely raw, there's nothing done to it, nothing done on this side. We can move all of this. So we just take where the spark plug goes, it's guide bores, spring pockets, everything. So those ports are going right into that chamber. So that's another thing that we're working on. Not finished yet, but getting close. The port development is finished. So sometimes that's the hardest part on this. But we just got to run tool path for this particular cylinder head. Even though it's the same ports and chambers and guide bores or anything, it'll still take different cam to put it in this. It's just not a magic wand. It's not that simple. And we just finished the CID LS, so the MBE version of the CID LS7 head. So we just got this finished. So we've done from where we've moved the exhaust bolt holes. So we plugged those off, and then we drilled and tapped them into a new location. And effectively what we've done is the port used to be here, so it was real low. We've raised the port up this way, and then we've moved the port over this way. And you ask, why would you move it over that way? What it does, when you move it over that way, it gets this opening, and you can almost see the angle when you look at it. It actually goes at an angle. The port is at an angle. But what that does, this is cheated over, okay? And what it is, the center of the cylinder is right here. What we want to do is, you want this on the low pressure side. You don't want it centered over here. And what that does, it picks up 20 CFM just by moving that over at the flange. So that's just another little thing that we look at and go, how can we take advantage of this casting even more than what they're doing? So right here, but this is a head that flows over 430 CFM. So, and it's a real LS7, so as far as aftermarket, it's going to be hard to find an aftermarket LS7 base, not like a Dart LS10, LS7 base casting that will do what this does. Not to mention everything we spoke about, this is a Whipple supercharger for an LS7. This is a simple, the ports are very, very close to fitting. We hardly have to do any work to get this to fit. So this head, you can bolt on a Whipple, their LS7 supercharger. That's a badass deal, right? And we got the cast manifolds for it. We can set it up for EFI. We can set it up for carburetor only. We can set it up for two EFIs if you like. So just a lot of things going on because, as we know, the LS7, or the LS market keeps growing. This will always set up in a 4120 bore or larger also. But these are the reasons we're not going to be at PRI. I'm certainly going to miss my friends, seeing the customers, but we need to stay home. That's all. Thank you, everybody.